Hey, girl. Hey. How are you, girl?
I'm good. I'm good. Living the dream, which is a nightmare, and I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
You're living the dream that is a nightmare, girl. The dream that is a.
I
Well, I
think
don't I don't know if you
right.
saw. I don't know if you saw or not, but the NAACP did now issue a warning for Florida.
Oh, dang it! I was hoping they were going to endorse us.
No. Issued a warning for Florida that it's not safe for Black people.
Oh, I thought they'd already done that before.
Well, no, not recently. I mean, not again. I should say.
Somebody else did it. Oh no, that was it was like the HRC or something like
Oh well,
that.
that's
Like one of
probably
those
true.
groups. Yeah, yeah. I mean, on the day to day, nothing seems strangely different. Probably because I'm not either trans or um, a parent or a teenager
Uh
or
huh.
any of those things. So it's like for the average person, although I'm dear listeners, trust me when I say I'm vocally fighting all of these things, but just from like the average for most of us, it's like nothing is any different, which is the
Mm-hmm.
problem technically.
Yeah.
um, I'm having to listen to ridiculous stories for my trans friends about fear and frustration and everything else. And yeah, so
Well,
it is
now, girl,
crappy.
before we start talking about Drag Race, I have not watched the third episode yet. Just throwing it out there. I've only watched the first two, not the third.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, girl. They didn't announce that there were going to be two to start with, did they?
I mean, they did when they did the first episode. They were like, "Oh, bonus, da da da." Yeah,
In what?
like for the TV commercials, I guess would not
Yeah, who's
apply for
watching the
you.
TV commercials, girl?
Could you not yell at me? I'm just telling you where I found out about it.
Do you still watch the television?
I still watch it sometimes,
Oh,
not
okay.
all the time, but there's a couple of shows that I'll watch.
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that. Did you watch any of the anime I've talked about yet?
Well, I mean, I haven't watched anything except for our shows this week. Like, I haven't had time to do, I haven't had time, like, I haven't had time to literally do anything this week other like
Girl,
on
what have you been busy with? What have you been busy with?
my work, my day job had
Oh,
a giant conference. So
oh,
we had people visiting from all over the country,
ooh,
and so that required me
ooh.
being at work. It required me getting up here at 7:30 because I had to be down in for those that don't know, there's a city called Aventura that's between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. That's where we were having it, so it took me about 45 minutes to get there, even though it's only 15 miles away. um and then I wasn't getting home till about 7:30 at night.
And
So
wait, what time did you have to wake up to get down there?
7:30 in the morning.
Girl, you ain't pretty at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, I'm well aware. I'm well aware.
You are not pretty at 7:30 in the morning.
And I'm not nice.
You're not nice. Why didn't you just go on third shift that week? That would have been
There's
easier.
Our company doesn't have third
No.
shift.
I meant like go to bed at like 9 p.m. Wake up at or no, like what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Wake up at 3 a.m. and just stay up until time to go, and then fall asleep after you get home at like 10 a.m. or
No, I
something.
mean
I
it
don't
was
know.
fine. I
Work it
mean,
out some way.
I was fine. It's just not my bag. So for me, like the first night, Wednesday, when I got back
Uh
from day
huh.
one, because mind you, for dear listeners who don't know this, I'm in my day job, I'm a business coach, so I have to talk to people a lot, and
Funny story. She can
everybody.
talk to people.
I can totally do that when I need to, and when people are paying me to do it, I can definitely do it. However,
Mm-hmm.
it does take a lot of my personal energy and my energy to get over introversion to do that. So on Wednesday when I got home, I literally just laid on the couch and was gone. So by the time I woke up, I think it was 1 in the morning. So it was like, oh, okay, let me make sure I take the dogs out. I went back to bed. But I was like, I don't want to, because that's when you were like, girl, where are you? I was like, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to see people. I don't want to see people on TV. I don't want nothing. I just need quiet.
You need quiet. You need to sleep. You need to be done with it.
It was a lot. It was a lot, but it was good. I mean, it was.
Well, good. I'm glad.
I met people that I have never met in real life. I met clients that I've never met.
Good.
Some of them I've had for over 2 years. So, you know.
Oh, your clients came too.
Yeah, some of my clients came.
Did you meet that one?
No, she didn't come. She didn't come. She may come to the next one though, because she just recently got back into the program.
Oh no!
I'm not working with her though. I'm not working with her, but yeah, she may come to the next one. I think the next one's gonna be in like 3 months or 4 months or something like that. But
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It was, but it was a good time. It was a good time. It was some of my clients were taller than I thought they would be.
Well, girl, you're also.
No, I know, but most men are, like based on the fact that I can only see people from like their shoulders up. A couple of people that I thought were about my height were a bit taller.
Girl,
I was like, oh.
I love the picture of you and your mama together, and when you put on the heels, you're finally taller than her.
I know.
And those are like some stacked heels too. So it's
yes, dear listeners, if you weren't aware of it, I am quite short for a man. I'm not like disabledly short, but I am quite short for a man.
Yes.
I'm only 5'5".
Yes, she's tiny.
So even in sky high heels, I'm still shorter than most
I mean, now, girl, now that you're in your 40s, you're probably close to 5'4".
Oh no! Why did you have to say that? I didn't even think about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no.
yeah. Speaking of depressing things that just come to mind, did you know we have a Patreon?
That is depressing.
Listeners, if you go to patreon.com, Mims and Maim, you can throw some money. And we are working on a thing. We're working on a new thing. We'll announce it next week. We'll announce it next week, but we're working on a new thing for our patrons.
Mm-hmm.
And our patrons who are very nice to us recently. Mm-hmm. We love them. Thank you, patrons.
Thank you, patrons. You guys have been amazing.
Hey, Maim.
Yes?
Did you know we have another podcast?
What?
It's called You Slay Me. It's a Murder, She Wrote podcast.
It is.
Hey, Maim.
Yes?
Did you know? Do we have merchandise?
What?
If you go to MimsMaim.com, you can buy some things. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Do you know what I love?
No. Oh, wait, yes, I do.
My God.
Sorry. You love 5-star reviews.
5-star reviews. It's not strippers. They just aren't my thing. But I do love 5-star reviews. Dear listeners, if you would please throw us a 5-star review, it would mean a lot.
A whole lot.
A whole lot. You don't have to write us anything. We like reading them, but if you just
love them. We cackle and giggle. Some of them are hilarious.
We have a new one for.
Oh, yes. Are you gonna read it?
Well, that's not here. That's.
Oh, it's for the other one.
Yeah, that's for You Slay Me. But
you'll need to listen to You Slay Me to hear that hilarious.
That's
review.
Right. One of our dear listeners from this podcast decided to switch over to You Slay Me, and she's now made. She probably, I don't know if they downloaded them all at once. If they did, whatever. This past week, You Slay Me had more downloads than Baking Sugar, and I nearly fell out of my pants.
What? People are getting on with the wacky one.
This one's not the wacky one?
No, this is the funny one. The other one's wacky. This one's funny.
Gotcha.
That one's wacky.
I understand.
Because we are always a little punch drunk by the time we get to that one.
We are. We are. This is season 4, episode 17. Oh, what a feeling.
I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. And that, Marjorie, just so you will know, and your children will someday know, is the night the lights went out in Georgia. The lights went out. The lights went out. The lights went out. The lights went out. And that is the night. The lights went out in Georgia.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
What a weird episode.
Girl, you know, I've just been waiting. I thought this was the episode. Do you remember when the hurricane hit and it went through all the different, or was that NBC?
That was NBC.
Okay, I thought they did it on CBS too, where they went through all the different like things. But that was Empty Nest, and because I could have sworn they did it as it was going up the coast. Like it was there, and Murphy Brown as it was going up the coast.
Yeah. No, I think a couple of I do think it's a few of the CBS shows did it, but it started on NBC.
Okay.
And then because like it became, it was like national. Remember that in the 80s, like in the 90s, like hurricanes became like big news stories. They just started covering them.
That's when we got hit by Hugo.
No, I know, but that's when also I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like Hugo is also when the news started really cranking up the hurricane coverage after Hugo, because it was like ratings gold, and that's when we started seeing that whole like, what is it, like 72 hours before it gets here?
Yeah,
we're already
Well, girl, you know how many times I saw the video of that WSOC TV tower falling. Girl, I'm gonna pause for a second. My mom's calling.
Okay.
Girl.
Yes.
My mother called me.
Okay.
Mims, I can't get your grandmother's phone to work. The numbers ain't showing up. What do you mean by that, mother dearest?
Oh no.
And it's like the speed dial. She wasn't holding down the button long enough.
No. I refuse. I refuse to.
We're in Sugar Bacon's, and it's raining real bad outside.
Like, real bad.
Like, so bad that they had to put, like, a rain screen over the picture of that Sugar Baker mansion.
This is that kind of bad, too, that, like, my mom, if she had been driving me to school in 1990, would have seen some white child not with an umbrella and just shaking her head because she doesn't understand how they would get sent out there by their parents without an umbrella.
Girl, I've got a question for you. Do you use an umbrella today?
Yeah.
Oh, I usually don't.
I don't understand. Why? Like, just why?
Because
I don't get it.
I'll forget it.
You'll forget it where?
Wherever I put it down.
Okay. All right.
Like, do you know how many times I've taken one to work, left in my office, and then needed it the next time, and it's not in my car?
My answer is no.
All the time. I ended up with like 4 umbrellas at my office at one point.
4?
4.
Good Lord.
Because I just kept buying a new one.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I will sometimes take a raincoat, and I've left a raincoat at work too. So it's not. And I do believe that is why the white mothers of the world got tired of buying their children more umbrellas. Like, you'll just have to suffer. so Mama Maim, if you're listening, that's probably
Mama Maim,
what happened. There you go.
You got your answer.
That's
that you
right.
were puzzled over for so long.
There you go. I am glad to have helped.
This is like we just had like a eureka kind of moment. Like it's just my mom's literally gonna be like, that makes sense. See, Mom, it pays to have inside information.
I'm glad to be able to help you with the white ways. That sounds racist, and I will stop.
Oh, I thought it sounded like The Mandalorian.
I still haven't watched season 3 of that.
What?
Or season 2.
Season, you don't even have to watch season 2. Season 3 is amazing.
Okay.
Like, hardcore amazing. Like, no, I'm not even like just saying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Sorry,
he's
Craving.
hot. Is he out of his costume any?
for most of this one, no, because that's kind of the point of this is he's actually getting back to being, like proper Mandalorian. But there are other helmetless hot Mandalorians in this one. I guess you're not into other hot Mandalorians. Okay. Is that your asshole talking now?
I'm in hot man's, just not Mandalorian. Julia needs to rent a van. It's after 5 p.m.
Weird.
And Charlene said, well, have you tried Crazy Joe? And Julia, yes, in fact, was just on the phone with him. And she doesn't like it because he spells crazy with a K and a backward Z, and it bothers her.
Right. I mean, anybody that has crazy and the K in their name, probably in the South, you want to leave alone.
Yeah, that's true. However, if you are in the South and eating barbecue, you need to find the most anthropomorphized pig to eat barbecue from.
Yes.
Like you want that pig to be holding a platter of pig.
Did I tell you that we have a place down here that does Carolina barbecue?
Is it good?
No, they're from North Carolina.
That doesn't answer my question.
Yes, it's good.
Okay, then there you go. Girl, what? I got a place up here that does Kansas City style barbecue. Is it good? Not really, because Kansas City style barbecue is kind of boring to me.
I was going to say, it's Kansas City, so I feel like I already know the answer to that.
So Anthony is stuck with Mrs. Fricky and her furniture because the van, their old van, broke down on the 285.
Oh no.
Mary Jo just got off phone and she can't borrow anything because even the hippies,
right?
Well, they're on their way to a Grateful Dead concert in Iowa. And they took their love van with them. It's going to take them 3 weeks to go from Georgia to Iowa. And they're going to stop along the way and do what you do.
Hippies.
Now I know some hippies back in middle school and high school that went to Grateful Dead concerts.
I did too. Well, that's because we went to the same school.
That's exactly right.
As soon as I said it, I was like, well, of course I knew them. Why would I say it like that? That's the premise for our entire podcast.
Yeah, I know. That we've known each other since
we've known each other
before
we've known each other since 1985.
Maybe 4. I don't know.
It was a hot summer.
No, it was probably May because that's what the employee picnic is.
It was a hot steamy
God,
day.
I loved riding that train.
I did too.
That train was the best part.
I love the endless watermelon that you could get.
Oh, the hamburgers, girl, the hamburgers. Oh,
that was such good times.
It
Did they still do the picnic?
I don't know. Well, they put a building at Fort Dobbs.
Yeah, I knew that part.
They rebuilt Fort Dobbs on Fort Dobbs. So I don't know if they still do it.
I mean, gosh, and they always had it was like the best from a farm watermelon too. So it was just like candy.
Did I ever tell you about the racism I heard involving watermelon?
No.
So this was back when I worked at the Dollar Tree.
Okay.
And you may or may not have remembered that back in the day, I believe when I was 19 to 20, there was a watermelon truck that turned over on Gardner Bagnall.
Whoa.
Or in that general vicinity.
I don't like where this is going already.
And on the radio. Now, girl, first of all, do you remember the manager at Dollar Tree, the female manager at Dollar Tree?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. And so you know who was standing right beside me as this was coming on the...
Oh, yes.
It was the policeman had his radio turned all the way up and said, hey, there's been a watermelon truck overturned in this part of town. Y'all better hurry up before these black people come up and eat them all.
That sounds like our hometown.
Luckily, they said black people. I will give him that.
I was gonna say that's actually. I thought you were gonna say something completely different.
Yes. However, that manager put a look at him like as she was counting money, and he turned it down and said, "I'm sorry, ma'am," and left the store.
She's like, you should be.
Uh-huh. And then, but as he left, we all looked at each other. Was like, watermelon does sound good right now because it was the middle of summer.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. I mean, I know that we're supposed to be in this sort of like weird moment in time where it's like we don't joke about that stuff, but like watermelon's good.
Do you
And
do you put salt on your watermelon or not?
no, I'm one
Okay.
of the purists.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I actually watermelon's like my second or third favorite melon. Watermelon's good.
Mhm.
But cantaloupe.
Oh, I thought you were for sure gonna say honeydew.
Oh no, honeydew's the most boring of the melons. It tastes like green. It is not green water. Mm-mm.
I'm gonna try something new this year because my friend, one of my Latin American friends told me about it. I'm gonna get some of that tagine stuff that they put on mango.
Oh,
I heard that,
oh, girl, that's delicious.
I heard it's good on watermelon.
It's delicious on watermelon. It's delicious
Yeah.
on delicious on everything. Now, girl, if you
Yeah.
make yourself like a frozen sweet drink and rim the glass with it,
I
yeah.
did that for
Uh-huh.
not Fourth of July. I did that for
Cinco de Mayo.
that's it.
Okay.
I was like fourth, fifth,
Girl.
fourth, because then I was thinking, may the fourth be with you, and
Yeah,
all of the
I put
fours and
teen on
fives got-
everything. I put on everything.
I put that shit on everything.
But
Do
the
y'all have
other
that commercial down there, up there?
yes, the other melon I like. Have you ever had a Sprite melon?
No.
They're small and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
They're called Sprite melons because they're small, but they kind of
Oh.
taste. But they kind of taste like Sprite too. So it's
I was about to say, you were getting me excited.
it-
Then you
it's-
said
it's
that, I'm like,
a-
oh.
it's like what would happen if you crossed a honeydew and a cantaloupe. So it's
Ooh,
it's
scandalo.
a scandalo. It's a little bit less sweet, and not as musky at all.
Cross pollination, honey. Yeah.
How dare they? How dare they?
That's how they do it on the continent, girl.
Suzanne says that they should just call the police and report a black man that stole a van and some furniture, and he's got a white woman held hostage. They'll probably just pull him up with a paddy wagon and even deliver the furniture. I hate to admit, but in Atlanta, she's probably right.
I mean, technically, I think that's true too. I mean, especially because, it's not like sugar bakers won't then go get him. You
Yeah.
know,
And then Suzanne's like, well, you could just buy a van and return it tomorrow. And Charlie's like, it doesn't fit. I don't think they're going to take a van back. And Suzanne's like, well, that's what I would do.
I could see that. Actually, true story. This
Uh-huh.
is a true story. My cousin did just this. So my cousin,
Mhm.
the one that my mom hangs out with all the time, the one that I told you was a little eccentric,
Uh-huh.
got a vehicle. And what was the reason? Oh, she got a vehicle. She took it home. She took it back because it had a keyless ignition, and it weirded her out so much after like 2 days that she just couldn't do it. She didn't trust it, and so it got it.
Now, in some states, it's completely legal to do that. North Carolina's not one of those states typically.
Well, the
But
thing
it-
is so the problem with the story is that it wasn't
no.
as simple as she just took it back. Like it ended up costing her some money to do that.
Oh no.
But because she is the woman of her convictions, she went ahead and paid the difference.
Cause it's like I got a woman of her convictions. I gotta hold that one in for just a second. In some states, you have something like 2 weeks to return a car,
Yeah,
as long as you don't put that many miles on it.
it's true.
Woman of her convictions.
Oh, when my mother called me, I could not even talk. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
I could just hear your mother too. I've got a story for you.
She was like, wait. She literally said, "Wait till you hear what your cousin did." I was like, "Oh no, that could be anything."
So Mary Jo does not trust car dealers.
Okay. You shouldn't. You. Oh, hello. Sugar bakers, sugar bakers, sugar bakers, sugar bakers.
Anthony calling. He's at a Waffle House right now.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like my hash brown scattered, smothered, covered, chunked and diced, please.
You better bring me that pecan waffle.
Extra crispy if you have the time.
And if you don't make the time.
And I would also like a BLT on Texas toast. Thank you.
Please write down what the waitress said to you so I can laugh about it later.
Anyway, so Anthony's there, and like he's calling to check in, see about the van, and apparently Miss Fricky's in a good mood. You know why she's a good mood, Maim? You know why?
Why is she in a good mood?
Because at midnight tonight, if the job's not done, the job is completely free.
Who? That's not a
Suzanne
thing.
saw it on a pizza ad.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. Domino's used to do that.
They did. That was an hour, or it's free, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I used to always hope for that. I was like, oh, maybe
It
it'll be free.
once for us. Once.
Yeah, but y'all live really far from Domino's.
Yeah, they still like delivered out there real fast.
Do
Girl,
they?
do you remember that the pizza place that was beside of the food line? The good pizza place that was beside the food line at 64 and East Broad.
No.
You don't remember this place? It had the ranch chicken pizza.
Oh, I remember the pizza. What was the name? I don't remember.
I
the
don't
name
remember
of
what
it,
the we had a friend that worked there.
Oh.
But it was a drug racket. Anyway,
No.
of course, those happen in Statesville.
Not little Statesville where nothing bad ever happens.
I will still bring up that elephant. If the elephant's lit up, it means drugs in the house. The elephant's not lit up. How did it take them so long to figure that shit out?
Because they're like, it can't happen in Statesville.
There were like cars all. If the elephant was lit up, dear listeners, the elephant was on like a plank. There were two elephants. There was a huge one in the front yard. And there was a smaller one on a plank outside, like the roof. Like on the little window coming out of the roof, there was a little tiny. If that little tiny elephant was lit up, there were drugs in the house. Whenever that elephant was lit up, there were cars everywhere. How did they not know, Maim?
I mean,
we
they
called
were
it
too
the Elephant
busy.
House.
I remember us calling it the Elephant House.
Everybody called. It wasn't just us. Everybody called it the Elephant House.
Oh, jeez.
God. Well, Joy and Charlene are going off to the car dealer.
Okay.
And we find out that Mary Jo hates to bargain with people. So back in the day, she lived in Guadalajara, and like she learned to like haggle some, but she hates doing it. She hates doing it.
Yeah.
And Julia's like, well, this is Atlanta, not Guadalajara. And we're going to like treat these people with respect and, give them a little bit of a profit and then, purchase the van.
I mean, I can't say anything. This goes back to that whole me being a very Mary Jo kind of person. You know how much I hate this stuff.
This is why Saturn, that car company that was, no haggle, you went in, you got it, that was it. That's what was the best thing. Like, but
because when I got my I like my vehicle a lot. Like I'm gonna run it into the ground, obviously. Of course. But I could not tell you at this point if I even got a good deal. Like I don't even know, because when I went to go do it, I was like, okay, this sounds good, I guess. But I'm just looking at this thing like, I guess this is good. I don't know.
Yeah, like you have an amount you want to spend, you go, you look at it, is it more or less this amount? Great, we're done.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a vehicle and it's this, so it must be pricier. It's a hybrid, so I'm like, I guess it's a little pricier. So, but I can afford it. So okay.
I will say, my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, who's passed away. But when those three would go in to buy a car, they would go
Yes.
in as a force.
Of course.
They would like negotiate, get angry, get up and leave, come back, say, my grandmother would, I kid you not, pull out so much cash out of her tiny little purse, throw it on the desk, and say, "This is what we've got. Can we have it?"
You're good.
And they would say, "Yes, ma'am." "Where'd you get all this cash?" "The bank."
I love that woman so much. It's like I feel like someday you have got to just do a little mini collection because it's all gold, all of it. Oh, I love it so much because I can
Like,
see her. I can see
yeah.
it. I can see her.
And dear
doing
listeners,
this.
I don't want you to think that she's rich or anything like that. This was well saved, well earned money that like for a long time that she had. Like it is not just flowing for her. It was, yeah.
I just love it. I just 'cause I
Oh
can
my
see
God,
her.
it's hilarious. It is so
Her and
good.
that friendly stone face that she gets
Oh
sometimes.
yeah.
That car dealer had no idea how to read her at all.
Oh, and then like they did not have the color that we wanted at the place, but they had it in like they were like, "Can you please run the report and see where the color is?" It was in DC,
Oh, okay.
and they're like, "DC's not that far. Well, it'll be like $1,500 to ship it down."
Okay.
But my mom, "No, it won't." Do you want the deal, or do you want us to drive up to DC? It's your choice.
You know, I think the older I get and we start having these little stories on the side,
Uh-huh.
the more you make even more sense to me over this time frame. Not that you don't make sense to me, but you know, because there's like that side to your family that I didn't even get to see because it wasn't like I was around you 24 hours.
Yeah.
But it's just like, gosh, it's all making so much sense
Yep.
now.
Yep. We're at the car dealer,
Ooh.
and Charlene wants to make sure that the van isn't two vans welded together because she read the story of two vans welded together. They just fell apart on the interstate.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen that in Statesville.
Do you remember that the cutout T-top that somebody did?
Oh yeah.
But with the chainsaw cut out.
I used to love the cars back home where it
Mhm.
was like a different door, a different hood, a different bumper, a different trunk fixture. Like all it was like a puzzle piece.
I have a question for you. Did you ever do the white person thing and go cruising?
No.
Oh,
why
you
would I
you
do
never
that?
went cruising?
No.
Okay.
My big sister Maim did.
Okay.
But I didn't. I was never. I mean, when would we have done that? We were at the coffee house.
I did it once or twice.
And you just drove up and down Broad Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did y'all do while you were driving?
Listen to music. And me being me, get real frustrated that I was, in fact, in all this traffic. Like I did not drive up and down Broad Street. I went from downtown up to Broad Street, and then turned a right. Like what's that road? Is it Trad Street or whatever? The one that cuts back over. The one that cuts back over to get back to downtown. That's what I did. Or I turned to the Kmart parking lot. Avoided all of the riffraff to get over to that street and go back around. Because they would go in the Kmart parking lot and meet and discuss. And then
that was too social for me. Like I didn't.
and they would walk around the mall.
Yeah.
There was one dude named Slim. He liked underage girls to date.
Ew,
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't. It's like, is that the person we know? It's like,
No.
oh, no.
They were in their 20s and dating 16-year-olds.
Oh no.
But he waited till they were 16, so it was legal. Isn't that great? I think he had 2 babies. So Suzanne asks how they're going to play this. She's like, I would normally use sex to buy a car, but in this case, I think y'all should use pity. Like we can be from a nonprofit that needs a new van to drive hobos back and forth. Hobos. So Stan comes up. We meet Stan. He's our friendly car dealer. Charlene immediately asks, "Is this one van or two?" He has them all sit down. He starts telling him about himself and his life and everything he's done, and just on and on and on. And Charlene just spills out everything. They need a van tonight, etc., etc., etc.
I think if either of us had spilled out at that point, it would not have been like that.
And Julia looks and it's like, I'm glad that's out in the open. We're nuns, and we need this for blind orphans. And Suzanne just giggles. No, I feel like you and I could probably negotiate things pretty well. I feel like we'd send you in first to be the naivete, and then I would come in and go, "So how's it going? Oh, this is great. Great. No, this is not how this is going to work. We're going to get it better."
Yeah, either that or you send me in first, and then by the time you come in, I dissolve into a puddle of tears.
Yes, tears also work.
Yeah, because I'd be like, they're just trying to confuse me, and I just feel like they're trying to take my money.
So I was taking one of my friends car shopping.
Okay.
This was years ago, back when I had friends. No, I'm joking. This is years ago, and we're sitting there, and it's a Subaru dealership. Okay, Subaru. And they have this great little sporty red Outback, or not Outback, but whatever their little sporty hatchback is.
Is your friend a lesbian? Is it a lesbian friend?
No. Kinda, but no. Anyway, he did not want this car, right? I thought this car was great. It was reasonably priced. It was slightly used. It had like all the bells and whistles. Like, this is what you should go for.
Okay.
It's like, no, I don't want that car. Okay, so we go inside and sit down, and they start asking him what he's looking for in a car, etc. I would like it to be black. I was like, that's
how I...
I looked at him. I was like, why are we even here? You could do this online.
That's how I really... Now, you saying that right now, I'm like, oh... Is that not what you're supposed to say?
No, well, okay. Like, look, do you go online and see what they've got in stock first?
Okay, so if I can, can remember this right, the first time when I went to go get my last vehicle, I did look online first.
Good,
because I knew that I wanted. I knew what I wanted. Like, I knew the car. I knew that I wanted to get a hybrid, like the whole thing. But then when I got there and they started talking about all of the different packages, that's when my eyes glazed over, and I was like, I even told them at one point, I was like, well, I didn't really use my sunroof, so I don't really need a sunroof, but I didn't know what that meant. And so then by the time we figured out the right package for me, it was the package that had a sunroof. So then I felt conflicted at first. It's like, is this the right choice? I don't even understand what I'm doing now. So,
okay, so in the future, girl, go online.
I'll have this car for at least a decade.
That's true. Oh yeah, then AI will find it for us.
Yeah, once I got to this specific car, I was like, oh, this is it. I found it. I'm good. I don't need to look anymore. Yeah, because it's.
Well, we're at Sugarbaker's now, and Anthony comes in all wet with a policeman and a lamp, like a floor lamp. And the policeman's like, usually people just use flashlights.
I love that part.
Anthony has had it with Mrs. Fricky. She didn't like the way he packed the furniture. He was going too fast. He was going too slow. When the breakdown happened, it was a racial thing. He went to the Waffle House, and she wanted to put in a snack order of a coffee with certain amount of fresh cream and a third of a pack or 2/3 pack of sweet and low. When he returned with the coffee, it was tepid and she was not happy. And she has a huge butt.
That sweet low line really put me back at Iredale. Like I had like Iredale Memorial flashbacks of like, oh Lord, have mercy. Back when that was all that there was.
Oh God. Oh. Oh. See, people don't know the real pain of Diet Coke from back in the day when it was sweet and low. Wolf.
Girl. Remember when Equal came out and people were like, no, I don't like that. I'm going to stick to sweet and low. You're like,
yeah.
But this at least tastes somewhat better.
It all tastes bad.
I mean, you don't like any artificial sweeteners, though.
No, because it's not good. They all have a weird bitter aftertaste.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I mean,
like
even Splenda has that weird. There's one that erythro
yes.
Is okay.
That's the one that we use. We like Truvia.
Yeah, but there's some studies that may not be that good for you, that it thickens your blood.
I know.
So, I mean, why do you use it?
Because I drink a lot of things. Like I drink a lot of tea, so it's like if I sweetened it with
just drink
sugar,
it unsweetened.
I like it sweet. I am still Southern.
Just drink it unsweetened.
No.
I learned from our 8th grade science teacher.
Lord.
This is where this comes from. Because she said, if you just start, and I don't know if she believes this or not, or like lives by this, but if you just start eating a potato without anything on it, eventually you're going to like the taste of potato. So I tried it for a while, and I did, in fact, like the taste of potato.
Okay.
Like just a baked potato, I should say, baked potato.
Yes.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this with sugar from tea and all that, and it worked. And I enjoy the flavoring of tea without sugar. Now, every once in a while, do I like some sweet ass peppermint tea? Yes, I do. And on my potato, do I still like sour cream? Yes, ma'am.
I was about to say, potatoes is fine, but potatoes with butter on it is even better.
Oh, sour cream for me. I'm a.
That's fine. You can have what you want. I like them both.
And it probably used to be because my mother would buy Country Crock instead of butter.
Oh yeah, see, I was a butter family.
Oh yeah,
and
my grandmother was butter.
Yeah, I mean, I love them both. Like sour cream and butter on there. Ooh.
Now, girl, you know what I haven't had in a month of Sundays? I'm gonna have to go and get a sour cream and chive baked potato from Wendy's with a chili.
Yes, ma'am.
I haven't had
their. Yes, ma'am.
I haven't had their. They're getting ready to start selling their chili canned.
Are they? Whoa, that's a major one. My dear departed father would be so happy.
So Anthony says we should just leave her there to start a new life. She's got furniture and everything. She could start a new life there. And Mary Jo's like, we can't because of the deal Suzanne made.
Oh, that's true.
So Anthony goes. Anthony's like, where's everyone else? Mary Jo's like, they're getting a car. And it's like, oh no, I'm going to go. Do you have a raincoat? He puts on Mary Jo's raincoat.
Looking fabulous.
And Anthony says, I will do this anytime. And by anytime, I mean never again on God's green earth. It's a pretty good Anthony episode.
It was actually. He got to really. He hasn't had like a good strong episode in a while where he gets to do a lot of zingers.
So we're back at the car place. And girl, there's a meeting in the ladies' room.
There's a meeting in the ladies' room. We'll be back very soon. I love it.
I know.
That's why you said it, because you know what was happening.
So Julia tells Suzanne not to put the cleavage on the desk anymore when she's talking to Stan, because she doesn't want to hear the story of how he worked at a dairy when he was younger again. Anthony comes in with his eyes closed. It's like, what? I'm not looking. Can we go outside? There's no one else in the ladies' room but them. And they Charlene moves him over to sit down, and he's sitting down on a couch, and like he looks up, he's like, this is nice. This is nice. Then sexism joke.
Yes.
Girl,
I mean, you know.
I have seen a ladies' room or two.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't all like that.
You haven't seen a ladies' room in Atlanta, honey,
That is true. That is true.
where every ladies' room is also a parlor with inside because, you know.
Ooh, girl, like that hotel room in the episode of You Slay Me, we're gonna have ugly ass hotel room.
That's ugly.
It's so ugly. It's so ugly. Well, Anthony's talking about, the car thing, and Charlene goes on and on about how Stan is real sweet and kind, and she just thinks Anthony would really like him, and Julia's like, no, he's absolutely impossible. And Anthony comes up with the idea that he needs to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Like the man he is.
So they all come out, and Anthony handles it. Says he's the man he owns the thing, and like does a little comedy when he gets the price and goes ooh, and like throws it down. And Stan is like, I always prefer dealing with the man in charge. And Julia loses it.
Can we pause it for a moment?
Pause it.
The fact that he said that after Anthony just screamed like that was hilarious.
It was. But Julia loses it, and it goes off on Stan and says, well, I guess we'll be leaving. They walk over, hide behind the van because they're sure that he's going to come after them. I have, at the Ford dealership in Statesville, had someone physically come out and, like, run us down while, like, chasing after us, waving, because they wanted to make a deal with us. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross. I mean, I don't know. For me, obviously, the dear listeners don't know that much about all of our families, but for me, this episode was really funny considering that my oldest brother actually works, he manages a car dealership in Hickory. And so I did think it was interesting because we've had conversations in the past about like sales tactics and all of these kind of things, and everything they're saying on this episode is completely accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Anthony says, I think we need to go back to the ladies' room.
Yeah, there's a meeting in the ladies' room. Why is Anthony there, girl? Oh, we know why.
You lost it, girl. You lost it.
We know why.
So it's a little bit later on.
Yes.
We're at the car dealership still. Mary Jo shows up.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a taxi waiting outside. Mm-hmm. She's looking for her friends. And Stan's like, just sit down. I'm not like the normal kind of car dealer. They chit chat for a minute. She's talking about how her car's in the shop, and he's like, well, it sounds like you may need a new car soon. And she's like, you're good. And she looks down, and she's like, what's this? Like, he's like, we're very close to a deal. And she looks at it, and she's like, have you ever bought a chicken in Guadalajara? Because they charge you for everything. $125 for paperwork? Absolutely not, Stan. And like, she goes through it and rips that price apart. And Stan's like, well, you are getting a new 1989 van, to which Mary Jo goes, yes, Stan. However, it's 1990. Julia comes out. They all come out. And Julia looks down at the piece of paper and is like, oh, Charlene, get the checkbook.
Okay, so I have some thoughts about this moment.
Okay.
Which were, why in this show, this show that is supposed to be empowering two women, we have Julia Sugarbaker, who up until now, we're in season 4. We have watched this woman lay out so many men put so many men in their place
Uh-huh.
that we're a car dealer is keeps her flustered and not able to think carefully.
Yep.
Why? I mean, just for comedic effect, I guess.
Well,
'Cause
here's
it
the
doesn't
thing.
make sense to the context of the show.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Whenever Julia goes off, she's never thinking clearly.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
the politician episode, was she thinking clearly?
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When she kept hitting the porn thing, was she thinking clearly?
No.
There you go. So Stan's like, I see what you did. Y'all all pretend to be incompetent and then send in Mary Jo to make the final deal. And Charlie just looks up and goes, no, we really were incompetent.
I'm like, I don't know.
No,
It's just weird to me.
It's a little bit later. We're back at Sugar Baker's. Mary Jo's riled up, and Miss Freaky got her stuff delivered. Mary Jo wants to go to Guadalajara and buy a chicken. Do 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 do. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you find yourself a Miss Georgia Wild?
I did. Well, kind of. I'm torn between two. So
Okay,
I'm
Natalie
gonna give it.
Bruglia, come on.
I'm gonna give it to Mary Jo
Okay.
in that gray sweater dress. She looked so beautiful in this episode.
Okay.
But my heart of hearts wants to give it to Anthony in that robe, or the raincoat as he was walking out with the umbrella.
So I did not give it to Mary Jo because she's worn it before.
Yeah.
I gave it to Suzanne when she arrives at the car dealership. She's not wearing the bright colored coat. She's wearing the black coat with the black up underneath. I thought she looked very good.
Yeah.
And not
She did.
And not cinched, which I like. Like she wasn't
She looked
cinched to the
normal.
gods.
Like she looked,
yeah.
She looked comfortable.
She looked like a Lane Bryant model.
And that's a good thing in the 80s
That
and
is
90s.
a good thing. That is a very good thing. Well, Maim, did you like this episode?
I did. I like when they get silly ones. You know, they're good occasionally. I did not like the fact that it does that thing where it's making these ladies act like they don't normally act for the sake of a comedy.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's fine. Like, I really love the ladies' room moments.
I enjoyed this episode. This is one that I remember very well. Like this is one that stuck with me over time because the three women in my life are very much like Mary Jo, just taking the piece of paper and ripping it apart.
Oh my gosh, is that why we get along so well? Because I'm like Mary Jo?
You would never do that.
I mean, if I took my meds beforehand, I probably
Which ones? Girl, why don't you tell our dear listeners where they can find you?
Gosh, sometimes you really make me upset. Hello, dear listeners. It is I, your Auntie Maim. You can follow me on social media at Auntie Maim.
Are you not my favorite relation?
I mean, today I'm just like, I'm over it. You can find me on social media at Auntie Maims with an S. You can come see me in real life performing with the Villain Theater, an improvised comedy and stand-up theater in downtown Miami. More about them at villaintheater.com. You can follow me on the It's Happening Out network, which you can find our talk show that we do with all of our local queer members of the community at It's Happening Out on different social handles. And lastly, you can come see me every Thursday night hosting Amazing Colossal Karaoke every Thursday night at Kill Your Idol. It's a cool little bar on South Beach. So how about you, Mims?
Hey, y'all. I'm the Divine Miss Mims. You can find me online at Divine Miss Mims. Hey, Maim. Did you know that we have a Patreon?
Rude.
I do apologize, dear listeners. It just sort of happened.
Yes, I did know we had.
If you go to patreon.com, Mims and Maim, you can throw us some money. Hey, Maim.
Yeah.
Did you know we have another podcast?
What?
It's called You Slay
okay.
Me. It's a Murder, She Wrote podcast. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you know that we have merchandise?
Yes.
If you go to Mims and Maim, thankfully, if you go to MrMahaffey.com, you can buy some things. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Do you know what I love?
5-star reviews.
That's right, dear listeners. I love 5-star reviews. If you get a chance, leave us one. It really helps us. It helps us so much. And it gives us
It helps us with exposure.
exposure, just what I need to expose myself some more.
I mean, yeah, why not? I believe the children need this.
No, what children need? No, what? No, children
Not
need to
those
see
children,
me
like
exposed.
the children.
No,
I mean
what?
like the gay children, like the children, walking children in nature. Like that. I don't mean like actual children. We cuss too much on here.
That's why we are explicit, right?
Explicit.
Hey, Maim, do you have anything?
Oh my gosh, we should do that warning at the beginning of every episode now.
What?
Fair
Explicit.
warning. We're explicit.
I mean, we've got the little E.
I mean, no, but I mean, it's never mind. Whatever. Fine.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It is. Because you know what I'd have to do? I'd have to record it, then edit it into at the beginning of every fucking
That will
podcast.
never happen.
No,
That will
girl,
never
no. There are
happen.
too many. We are on episode like 80 something. That is too many to do. That is
Too
you are
much.
asking. You are asking for. It seems like minutes. I have to figure out my file folders. That's hours of work. Why don't you say goodnight, Maim?
Good night, Mame.
Bye, y'all.